joining us on the show, producer Christian. He's here with one of our fan favorite segments, Q's with P. Let's see what the people have cooked up for me. I did not peek at this tweet at all. I actually forgot about this until you text me.
I want to start with a non-basketball question.
Okay.
If you had to bet on one NFL team to win the Super Bowl, who would it be?
If I had to bet on one team, it would be the Chicago Bears for obvious reasons. Anybody outside of the Bears, maybe the Bills. I like the way that the Bills are playing. Josh Allen gave you a really great week in fantasy football, I saw. So I know you happy. Look at you smiling. Yeah, but maybe the Bills. Maybe it's their year. But, you know, you got to remember, I am a basketball, baseball guy who likes the NFL, don't love the NFL. So don't take what I say and run with it. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody to take that and go bet on the Bears or the Bills.
But you know your stuff about the NFL. I just wanted to give you a chance to address the Ted McMillan situation.
Yeah, I got freaked out. KB has Trey Henderson, who went crazy. And I look and I'm like, man, Trayvon Henderson got 30-something points. I'm like, man, I need to do something. So I try to put in all my running backs. And then Trey Tucker from the Raiders plays against the Cowboys. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put him in because he could go off against the Cowboys' weak secondary. And, you know, Tep going against the Falcons. And sure enough, I pulled a Christian. I tried to be clever and think too much, and it backfired on me. But I'm still good. Still good.
You are. I'll just say that in my league where I have Tet, I traded him this week. So we both missed out on the breakout.
I would never do anything like that. But yeah.
All right, back to basketball. Chase for 19 says, the Wizards have a lot of young talent, but they're 1-12. How do you know that the rebuild is trending in the right direction if they don't play a winning style of basketball? Do you begin to question the organization and the culture?
No, because when you're rebuilding, you're trying to get experience and growth. The best teacher in anything, not even just sports, is experience. And so you have a group of young guys growing and playing more minutes and getting more time. They don't know how to win. They don't know what it takes to win. And so you're not really looking at the wins and losses. It's hard to say that they're not playing winning basketball just yet because you kind of give them some grace. You look at it from the player progression. And I'm looking at Sarr take major steps in his game. I'm looking at Keyshawn George take major steps in his game. And you want to see more of that across the board. You know, you want to see Bub Carrington start to get it together. You want to see some flashes and moments from Trey Johnson and Bilal. And that's kind of really what you gauge. In a perfect world, yeah, you would win a few more games here and there, which I thought they did last year. But yeah, I don't think you really gauge the wins and losses column too much when you're talking about a rebuilding team. And everybody that's on the team or that you think of as the core isn't the core. This is a time where the core defines itself, right? Where you have an Alex Sarr and a Keyshawn George separate from the young group, and you're able to say, okay, we know for sure those are staples and core pieces for us, and we will use the rest of the time to navigate it. We've seen a bunch of rebuilds or teams put together young group of guys, and before you know it, only 3 guys withstand all of the other changes. So it's a part of the process. And yeah, you just gotta look at the development and the progression of each player that you're banking on to be a difference maker in your future, in my opinion.
Another rebuilding question. This one is from @the Boston Pacers. What do you think of the Celtics' way of rebuilding, basically not fully taking, but taking chances on unproven guys? And is it something other teams should do? The result is either a lottery pick or a bunch of trade assets developed, proven by the Celtics. I think that question's asking, like, you know, the kind of half in, half out. And I understand they're in a weird situation with Tatum, obviously, but any thoughts on what the Celtics, I guess, are doing?
Yeah, I don't mind it too much because there is a world where you can find some diamonds in the rough. And let's just be honest, it's very hard to go into a team locker room or whatever and, like, commit to losing. And the Eastern Conference is kind of down, and you could still maybe have some success. And I also think that there's a mental developmental phase that could happen as well. I think there's some benefit of maybe a Derek White or Jaylen Brown or Peyton Pritchard having more responsibility and doing more with it, and having, a confidence jolt in their game. You know what I'm saying? That when Tatum rejoins the team, because this team won't be the same even when Tatum comes back. There is no Drew Holiday. There is no Porzingis. There is no Al Horford. Some of these other guys got to now step up and be more. Peyton Pritchard just can't be a little six-man guard that comes up. He may have a bigger responsibility. And I think this kind of shapes him up to having that type of responsibility or having that much on his plate. This gives Derek White, an experience of being one of the first options for defenses. And in the long run, that maybe can help. So I understand it from that process. And, maybe you get a combination of that and they still end up tanking indirectly. We'll see. But I don't mind trying to win games and put your best foot forward. Normally, teams have been rewarded one way or another with that type of mindset. So maybe the Celtics will have the same type of luck. And they're also a team that when Jason Tatum comes back, nobody was going to pass up on getting one of the top players in the class, but they won't really need it. It would just be like the rich get richer, but they don't necessarily need the number 1 pick or a top 3 pick.
Next question comes from Andreas. This season, the Heat are using the same offensive system Memphis tried at the start of last season. Everyone is rightfully praising them for it. But why is it working so well for them when it didn't work for Memphis? Is it the roster or something else? Is that true, though, that it didn't work for Memphis? Because weren't they the 2 seed for a lot of the year?
Well, it would have to be the first portion because the second half is what got Jenkins fired. I can't remember off the top of my head. There's a lot of different things. Number one, the Memphis Grizzlies have Ja Morant. The Heat don't. And I think the Heat look fully committed to it. I think it's the roster and the players that they have. I think it's a lot easier to run up and down and do what they're doing. They don't have a Zach Edey. Their bigs are a little bit more mobile. They're a little bit more versatile. And whatever they did over the course of the summer, again, it was fully bought into. And I just think that the roster that they have, it complements it more. I talked about it in the first stretch of the season with the Heat. The reason the Heat are so good at it is because they have the size and skill set. So, again, when Jaime Jaquez gets a rebound, Bam gets a rebound, Jovic gets a rebound, Norman Powell gets a rebound, it's all the same as if they get the outlet to the guard. Everybody, Wiggins, they can push it up. I don't know off the top of my brain if, the Grizzlies had that to a full extent that the Heat have. I think this is perfect for the Miami Heat. I've seen Khalil Ware get a rebound and bring it up. But, Zach Edey ain't getting a rebound and pushing in transition. Santi Aldama not getting it too much and pushing into transition. These guys, they don't have that skill set full top to bottom like the Heat do. And the Heat, as of right now, they got guys sniping. Got Simone Fontecchio, all these guys knocking down these threes. It's just better with the Heat because of a roster construction, I would say. Yeah, a lot more faster, a lot more fluid and agile than the Grizzlies of last year.
Nutter331 says, what would be the perfect landing spot for each of the top 3 prospects? AJ, Cameron Boozer, and Darren Peterson. He notes it's early, but it's still a fun exercise. Where would you want to see these guys end up?
Okay. I look at a team like Washington, and I would not mind Cam Boozer there. I think that would be a fun front court of Sarr and Boozer. You also have Keyshawn George there. That's a lot of size. That's a lot of skill. A lot of guys that can play off of each other. I think there would be some really good synergy there. And you would also allow Trey Johnson to continue to just be that bucket, right? They could do a lot of the other things on outside of the scoring. Brooklyn, I like for a guy like AJ DeBonsa. I'm not going to lie. A building block, he gets to go into a team, get all of that confidence early. Big market, Brooklyn, they need somebody with some swag, with a certain pep in his step to bring some new energy into that building. I think he would do that easily out there in Brooklyn. And then I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm intrigued with Darren Peterson and Cooper Flagg being on the same team to usher in this new era of the Dallas Mavericks. Seeing everything that the Dallas Mavericks went through, seeing, the results of that Luka trade and Nico getting fired, and now we're talking about landing spots for Anthony Davis and whatnot. I really would love to see them really get, I don't want to say rewarded, but be able to have something new to get excited about. And even this year, I mean, Nico did such a horrible job that as of late, it's been different. But the start of Cooper Flagg's rookie year just wasn't as exciting as you would think for a guy that we was deeming generational. So those would be my three landing spots for those guys for the start of next season.